Lombardy region of Italy, known across the world for its place as a hive of history, culture, the arts and much more. Among its many cities, along the bank of the River Po, Cremona is set once again to welcome the FIA Karting paddock here for the FIA Karting OKN World Cup. After a successful first running of this competition as part of the World Championships at PF International in 2024, this year the OKN category stands with its own headline event. Joining the party for 2025 is the OKN Junior category, aimed for drivers 12 to 14 years of age from across the world. Joining also are the FIA Karting Academy Trophy Junior competitors for their final round of the season. Out on track, 89 competitors are set to battle to succeed Gioele Girardello as the World Cup winner in the senior category, whilst 81 drivers are hoping they become the inaugural winner of the Junior OKN World Cup title. With the story set to unfold, the drivers and teams are ready, and the spirit of the category going back to the roots of the sport, let's go racing in Cremona for the FIA Karting OKN World Cup. A classic test for any international karter, a full flying lap in Italy in the autumn. Let's go for a lap of Cremona with Federico Rossi. Double right-handers start this lap through turns 1 and 2, before the first stop on the brakes through the double apex rights of turns 3 and 4. A short run takes the drivers into the left-hand turn 5. Already the drivers are into the infield as turns 6 and 7, left and right, take the drivers down the back straight and towards turn 8. This right-hand hairpin is a big stop on the brakes, making it a key area for overtaking. The exit is important also. A longer run follows the kink of turn 9, before another double apex section, the lefts of turn 10 and 11. The track tightens through turn 12 before another corner where smooth inputs are required at turn 13. The track opens up through another 2 right-handers at 14 and 15. The final kink through turn 16 allows the drivers to open the throttle to complete a 1.2 kilometre lap here in Cremona.
Hi, I'm Marco Pedrilli, Deputy Safety Director and Head of the Research and Vehicle Safety at the FIA. In Cremona, the FIA Safety Department is gonna deploy for the first time the anti-launch device system.
The new anti-launch device is a joint exercise between the FIA Safety, FIA Technical and the FIA Karting Department. The product is being well received now and is currently being used in the Academy Trophy in Cremona. Well, we are pretty confident that this will go a long way in improving the safety standards of karting globally and in all competitions.
The device completed successfully a complete validation campaign, a laboratory test in which we did replicate severe impact conditions, and a full track test campaign in which we did run and assess the part in dry and wet conditions. So the anti-launch system consists of mainly 2 parts: the central rear protection and the wheel cover. Wheel cover is designed in order to better protect the wheel and mitigate the risk of a wheel-to-wheel contact on the car. In combination with the deployment of the new rear bumper, technical regulation has been agreed, side protection has been moved and are going to be installed more outboard in order again to increase the level of protection as well on the forward section of the tire. The FIA Safety Department will be in attendance to the event in order to provide support, advice, and as well in order to monitor the performance of the part, assess the effectiveness of the device. This is the latest innovation from FIA Safety Department to increase safety for all in motorsport.
The 2025 edition of the FIA Karting Academy Trophy started in Valencia, Spain. Dry and sunny conditions greeted France's Manuel Scognamiglio on their way to a first-round victory ahead of Lithuania's Nojus Stasionis and Sweden's Erik Poulsen and an early championship standings lead. On to Mulsen in Germany for round 2, another competitive and dramatic final was in store for the juniors. Finland's Oiva Vettenranta took victory ahead of Switzerland's Nicola Frigg and Denmark's Mark Reistrup. The championship standings heading into Cremona tied up. A mix of winners through the qualifying heats saw Le Marchand, Stasionis, Reistrup, Frigg and Vettenranta all score at least one victory. Le Marchand's consistency though put him on pole position, and in a live standings lead, Nick Brexel would join on the front row. 21 laps in Cremona to find this year's FIA Karting Academy Trophy Junior Champion. A good start for Le Marchand saw the French driver lead through the first few turns. Vettenranta starting 9th had work to do. Several drivers starting in the second half of the field were involved in a turn 3 incident on lap 1. Brazil's Rafa Bussato, Malta's Daniel Adela and South Africa's Emma Dowling all out of the race. On the second lap, Latvia's driver Jack Collinson fell down to 9th place. Tudor Jurkan moved past Turhan and Ludegan for 12th place early on lap 3. Frigg and Bautista would also follow through, dropping the Turkish driver to 15th momentarily. Le Marchand led in the early stages, Vettenranta up to 6th. Immediately behind the Finn, Thomas Chikaraki ran wide out of the high-speed chicane and allowed Julian Rivera through for 7th place on lap 4. Lap 7, Paul Becker's race was over, having pulled into the pits. Also out before the halfway stage of the race would be Razan Dahan and Ruslan Sarah Asa. A disappointing end to the season for all 3 drivers. The race continued for those out on track. Lap 10, a nice move from Stasionis put the Lithuanian driver up to 2nd place and past Slovenia's Nick Brexel. 1 lap later, Stasionis would run wide out of turn 7, offering a near moment for Brexel. Le Marchand continued to lead both the race and championship. However, Vettenranta, up to 4th, was not out of the picture. The Finn, sensing the need for track position, pounced through turns 12 and 13, up to 3rd place and dropping Brexel into the clutches of Rivera and Reistrup behind. Philly Lines from the UK read the situation well to get 2 positions on the run down to turn 1 to start a new lap. The top 5 were now Le Marchand, Stasionis, Vettenranta, Rivera and Lines. Elsewhere in the top 10 places, Nicola Frigg's strong race pace propelled the Swiss driver up to 8th place, past Germany's Emilia Berndt, who was still having a more positive race than the lap 1 retirement in Mulsanne. Lap 12, Georgia's Zaza Kignadze would become the latest retirement from the race. Back at the front, race leader Le Marchand was under pressure from Stasionis. A bold, controlled move at turn 13 gave Stasionis the lead on lap 14. The battle for the championship was on. Vettenranta's charge from 9th had given him all the information to pull off a similar move to Stasionis 1 lap later for 2nd place on the road. But with an 18-point deficit to overcome from before the final had started, the Finn would need Le Marchand to fall further back if the title was to change hands. Lap 17, Philly Lines was also on the move again, this time past Rivera for P4. Reistrup followed through into 5th, Frigg also up to 6th. A small bit of breathing space for Le Marchand, but could the French driver hold on? Lap 18, Brexel rediscovered the pace required to move past Rivera for 7th place. Turn 7 again would be a tricky one for the juniors. It would be the Ecuadorians' turn to have a moment out of the right-hander and lose a further spot to Emilia Berndt. Stasionis continued to lead the race, Le Marchand leading in the points. Final lap of the race and the championship, the defining moment came at turn 5. A move from Philly Lines goes all wrong and takes Le Marchand out of 3rd place. Le Marchand drops to P8 on the road, losing a significant number of points. Nojus Stasionis takes the win in the final, going 1 better than Valencia and secures 3rd in the championship. A great recovery after a difficult 2nd round. The scene behind the race winner is scarcely believable though for the championship. In stunning fashion, Finland's Oiva Vettenranta becomes the 2025 FIA Karting Academy Trophy winner in the junior category by just 4 points. Joining the illustrious list of names to win the title, he becomes the first Finnish winner in the category in over a decade. A stunning finish, Stasionis from Vettenranta from Reistrup. All double podium visitors this year. Frigg and Brexel are both in the top 5 ahead of Bern's best finish of the year in 6th. Le Marchand is promoted back to 7th after a post-race penalty for Lines, but falls short of the title by only 4 points. Rivera, Collinson and Jurkan complete the top 10. A proud moment for Nojus Stasionis, taking one of his biggest wins to date under immense pressure. A close title picture caps off another exciting season in the FIA Karting Academy Trophy.
Yeah, the weekend was amazing. I mean, of course I won. Also got pole in qualifying, so that's good. In the first heat I got unlucky, got taken out, but still for the final I managed to secure P3 since I won the other 2 heats. I think I would have gotten P1 for the final if not for the first heat, but yeah, I'm pretty happy and the weekend was very good. I was really strong.
Yeah, I had a good pace at the start, so at every practice I was like top 5 minimum, and I had not the best quali, but P4 in own group, so started P4 in every heat, and one heat I got disqualification for the little bit crash, so that maybe make us a little bit worse the start for the final. Yeah, it's awesome to win this race, and so many close chances to Finland to win this, but now I actually did it. That it's fun to understand how big the deal is this.
Of course, very lucky that P3 and P4 crashed on the last lap. I also had some problems in the final with some grip and a little bit of the engine. But yeah, it turned out pretty great, and I'm happy that they crashed so I could get on the podium here for the last race.
The second category of the race meeting at Cremona marked something new for the FIA karting scene, OKN Junior, an offering for drivers in the year of their 12th birthday and up to 14 years of age to have the opportunity to race within the FIA's universal category. Simple and economical, the new category differs from the elder OKN on only a small number of parameters. After 5 rounds of qualifying heats in the morning superheat, Gioele Girardello of Italy would start from pole position. Alongside them on the front row would be modern kart racing teammate Albert Tam, both aboard Paralin chassis with TM engines. Alexander Legenki would start third. 36 drivers all ready to put their names in the history books in the first OKN Junior FIA World Cup final. Girardello led through the first couple of corners in a strong start for those immediately behind him. The field ran clean through the first braking zone. Unfortunately, the second braking zone would see incident. A stack up in the middle of the pack pitched 3 drivers out of the final. Going no further than lap 1, Victory Lane's Alexandra Point, Modna's Federico Mirabella and Hout's Benjamin Westwood. Girardello held the lead from pole position. Start of lap 2, Michele Orlando swept past Legenki for second place. Anthony Ochepa held 4th place ahead of a brewing battle for 5th. Tam working hard not to lose further positions as Sheikh Fay fought with Mia Oja, Orlando Ravelli and Victoria Farfus for places inside the top 10. Lap 4, a move from Farfus took her past Ravelli and up to 7th place. The Brazilian driver fighting back with spirit after a tough superheat. Turns 3 and 4 was a hot spot for overtaking. Jakob Bednar getting past Oja for 9th place. Girardello continued to lead from Orlando, Legenki and the rest. Elsewhere on lap 5, Tam started a recovery, passing Ochepa for 4th place, providing a path for Shi to move up into the top 5. Farfus continued her progress, taking 6th place from the Polish driver under braking into the hairpin on lap 6. Meanwhile, Girardello's lead moved beyond 1 second. Lap 8, a daring move from Ochepa, gives Ravelli no option but to concede 7th place. Bednar gains another spot in the process and is one of the biggest movers in the first half of the race. The first half of the race also sees Yasin Cosmopoulos in the CRG join Guillermo Bossato and others from lap 1 in the Marshalls post. Ivan Aman also doesn't go beyond lap 9. Farfus continues her charge through the field, disposing of Shi in a close move through turns 12 and 13 on lap 9. Lap 11, Nikita Bott's race sadly ended for the Novolux team, pulling into the pits at the halfway point. The second half started with Christian Blandino taking 9th place away from Ravelli through turns 3 and 4. Rivaling Bednar for positions gained was Nicholas Stanley. Lap 15 saw Stanley continue progress, catch Bednar and overtake for 9th place through the tight turn 13. Now 12 positions gained for the American. Girardello led by 3.5 seconds by lap 16. The Italian continued to push on, staying focused at the wheel of his Paralin machine, managing the gap superbly back to Orlando, who was similarly racing well for the DR team but under pressure from the driver in 3rd. Girardello's teammate Albert Tam was back into the podium positions, and with strong race pace in the second half, the possibility of a 1-2 finish for the Modena racing team was still high. By lap 18, Victoria Farfus had caught up to Legenki. A brave move into turn 6 showed her speed to move past, and up to 4th place. Unfortunately, time remaining was against Farfus. Over 2 seconds was the gap to the podium places, with only a few laps to go. Close to the end of the race, but not close enough, Zach Zhu would become retirement number 8 on lap 19. Back at the front, Gioele Girardello took the final lap in Cremona and the victory in style to become the inaugural FIA Karting World Cup winner in the OKN Junior category. A fantastic display from one of the favourites on home soil. Girardello had finished no lower than 3rd in any race appearance throughout the whole weekend, only failing to finish first once. More importantly though, a 4-second gap to the rest meant he took the final with ease. The top 10 in OKN Junior, Girardello wins from Orlando, who holds off a charging Tam in the podium positions. Farfus finishes 4th, gaining 7 places. Legenki completes the top 5 ahead of Shi and Blandino. Ochepi and Ravelli secure top 10s, as does biggest forward mover in the race Stanley, up from 21st on the grid. Big smiles on the podium for history maker Gioele Girardello. Having had the pressure and expectation all the way from timed qualifying earlier in the week, he'd stayed one step ahead of the competition to become an FIA Karting World Cup winner.
Yeah, we do a nearly perfect weekend. We do a lot of testings. That's why we were very fast. In the first part of the weekend, I didn't thought I could win the race, because I was fast, but not even that fast. So after the quali, I was impressed, and now even more. We do a very good work all together, team, engineer, and also with Albert, my teammate, that we work a lot on chassis and engine, so I'm very happy.
Yeah, I'm so happy for the result. In qualifying I do a P6 and the 8 it don't go so bad. And with the pre-final I do a P2, and in the final I go a P2, and I'm so happy for the result. Thanks to all my team, to my motorist, Modena engine, to all the person who helped me in this year, and thanks to my family.
I think it went quite well. Did struggle a little bit in the wet, but still managed to be at the front all the time. And yeah, I would just like to thank the whole team and my family and everyone that was involved this week.
Thank you so much for my team, for my engine tuning, Simone Catenacci, EMEA, and Paroli Motorsport. The hard work in this weekend, the rain condition, dry condition, only one chassis, is very difficult week. Pro Gioele is very, very fast. Weekend perfect. Very, very happy for Albert, P3.
More than 3 times the number of drivers at the first FIA World Cup in the OKN category arrived in Cremona with hopes of taking victory in Italy. 89 drivers had been cut down to 72 through 5 rounds of qualifying heats, before the super heats halved that number down to the final 36. Numerous drivers had taken heat victories across the course of the weekend, but none more so than Manuel Scognamiglio. His record meant that he would start from pole position. Poland's Wojciech Woda would start second on the grid, Nico Foucault of Argentina would be on row 2, with William Marshall of South Africa for company. The longest race of the weekend, 25 laps in Cremona to find this year's World Cup winner. Scognamiglio elected to start on driver's left and pulled the strategy off to perfection, leading off turn 1. Heat winner Alexandre Lopez found the grass and would be out instantly. Foucault up to second place, the rest through turn 3 relatively unscathed. A tough moment for the Frenchman, who'd started 8th. He'd be joined by Nico Copatelli on lap 1, Mike Pariala on lap 2, and lap 3 retirees Nikos Kopetsky and Dimitri Pankivsky on the sidelines. The field cut to 31 in the early stages. On to lap 4, and after a difficult start, William Marshall overtook Giuseppe Galliano at turn 7 for 5th place. Galliano was now at the mercy of his Sankey Motorsport teammates. Danny Caronini made turn 3 the spot to pass Guido Badoli for 7th place on lap 6. Elsewhere, there was trouble for Jean-Paul Carras, out of the race on lap 7 after a clash with Matteo Zanchi. Zanchi would be disqualified by the stewards post-race, judged to be at fault for causing the incident down at turn 8. Caronini's march continued, passing Galliano for 6th place at turn 5 on lap 8. Marshall had caught Nardozzi in the debate for 4th. Tidy driving from the World Racing pilot meant the South African moved up another position, and not a moment too soon. The battle put a hungry Caronini right on their tail. The Italian didn't need a second invitation, taking 5th place from Nardozi through turn 1. Lap 11, a turning point. Wojciech Woda out of 2nd place and understandably upset at the situation. No other driver was involved in the race-ending moment. Control of a strong podium position had left the Polish driver. Handing 2nd place to Fuka, the Marshall and Caronini fight was now over 3rd. Lap 14, Christian Tonolini took 9th place away from Iva Basteda at turn 5. A lap later, Caronini would pull a similar move for the much bigger prize of a spot on the podium. Passed Marshall for 3rd, and now setting about Fuka's 2nd place. Scognamiglio led comfortably at the front with a 5.5 second advantage, with a third of the race to go. Tonolini continued to send messages to the rest. A move on Franciszek Strzelski at turn 8 on lap 17 moved the Sody Kart machine up to 8th place. Caronini had caught fellow Zanchi runner Nicola Fruca. Two vastly experienced racers, particularly around Italian race circuits, went wheel to wheel through turns 12 and 13, with the number 31 kart going through and up into 2nd place. The battle meant Scognamiglio was now more than 6 seconds clear. Further back, another Tonolini special was to be served up at turn 8, this time on Bidoli for 7th place on lap number 20. Tonolini now up 12 places. Strzelski wanted a piece of the action as well, but wasn't quite able to get the move done on Bidoli at turn 15. The exchange opened the door for Federico Rossi to move up to 9th place, even using a bit of the grass on his way through. Entertaining racing once again at Cremona. Tonolini's pursuit of more positions wasn't over. Galliano, the next driver to see the flash of sody orange go by, losing out on 6th place in the process. While Strzelski versus Rossi wasn't done, with a few laps to go in the exchange for 9th. The race leader, meanwhile, was over 6 seconds clear. End of lap 22, Galliano would lose out to Strzelski, Rossi, Antonio Apicella and Bernardo Gentile, an uncharacteristic moment for the Italian. An opening presented itself to Rossi to take 8th place into turn 2. Matters would get worse for the Pole, as he would lose out on another 2 places to Apicella and Gentile through turns 3 and 4. Caronini was now clear in 2nd place, however the question of 3rd place wasn't resolved. An aggressive defence from Fuka on Marshall showed how fierce the fight was with only 2 laps to go. The Argentine held on to 3rd. It was further good news for Danny Caronini, now clear in 2nd place by over a second, and Nardozi, the DR driver taking heaps of time out of the pair. Another close moment between Marshall and Fuka had the number 52 clattering over the curb at turn 14. It would be the deciding moment. No troubles, however, for Manuel Scognamiglio. A dominant victory to become the 2nd winner of the FIA Karting World Cup for the OKN category. A huge margin of victory, over 8 seconds clear of Danny Caronini, who had fought valiantly from 14th place on the grid. For the Telone Motorsport team, it was a job magnificently done. Similar to the junior race, the OKN event winner had finished 1st in all but 1 heat across the entire weekend. Overall, a greater level of depth than year 1 of the competition meant those on the podium had truly earned their rewards. The top 10 in the 2025 OKN World Cup final. Scognamiglio joins Kyo Lee on the roll of honour. Caronini proves his worth with 2nd ahead of Fuka. Nardozi and Marshall finished 7,000ths apart in the fight for 4th. Tonolini, Bidoli, Rossi, Apicella and Gentile finish in the top 10 after a late retirement for Galliano. Another near-perfect weekend for a World Cup winner. Manuel Scognamiglio makes it a clean sweep for the host nation across the 2 OKN categories, capping off a fantastic race weekend in Cremona.
First of all, thank you.
As for the weekend, it was a tough one. We worked from the start to find the best setup for the go-karts and for the engine. Today, we managed to win the final, and we did a fantastic job. I'd like to thank my team, Telone Motorsport, my engineer, and also Bruno for the engines.
The final was crazy. The speed was really good. I think I cannot win, but the 2nd place was the max to make today. I recovered really well, and I'm really happy about this. And I want to thank always my team for the fantastic job, the KR for the chassis, the TM for the engine, and always to Matteo for what he make every day.
It was an amazing weekend. My first time here in Cremona. We had to take pole in our group. It was a very good gap. Honestly, I'm really happy. My first pole here in Europe. We were missing a bit in the dry, but for the final we were able to fix it. We managed to get a very good pace, had a good start, beginning from 4th place. We moved up to 2nd And from then on, it was mostly an endurance race, where we had to hold on, then Danny passed us. And in the last laps, it was all about fighting for the final podium position, which we managed to take.
I'm very happy. It's amazing this weekend. We work together and with passion, with all other guys of my team. We make a fantastic job. It is a dream for me. I don't believe what's happened, and I love it. Thank you.
The last part of this year's OK category competitions in the FIA Karting Championship is complete. Oiva Vettenranta joins a prestigious list of drivers to become FIA Karting Academy Trophy winner. Gioele Girardello will forever be the first winner of the FIA Karting World Cup for OKN Junior drivers. A fiercely proud moment for the young Italian and the whole modern kart racing team. Whilst over in OKN, Manuel Scognamiglio puts in an imperious performance to win the World Cup after an enthralling competition that sets the tone for years to come in the category. Thank you very much for joining us here in Cremona. One event for 2025 remains as the KZ World Championships take place in a fortnight at Franciacorta. We very much hope to see you there.